Hi, I'm Pastor Lynn Kirkland, the pastor of Impact Ministries Cowboy Church. I'd like to invite you to come be with us on Sundays at 11 a.m. We would love to have you, or in our Bible study on Wednesday at 5:30. I've got a message for you today, just a brief one. I'd like for you to hear this if you will. In the book of Luke, there's a story of Lazarus and the rich man. Lazarus was a poor man who was covered in sores and lived a miserable existence, but who had faith in God. The rich man is not named, but he fared sumptuously, or in other words, he flaunted his wealth. He had the ultimate crib. He had the mega estate. In fact, he would take bread and wipe his fingers with it. They didn't use napkins in those days. They wiped the oils and grease off their fingers with bread. This rich man wiped his hands on this bread and threw it out. Guess what Lazarus lived off of? That bread. That was all he had. Every day the rich man would come out in his big chariot and cruise by. Here is Lazarus, this poor guy, getting a used piece of bread and eating it. It was pathetic. But then death came, and death is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter if you're Bill Gates or if you're someone people have never heard of before. It doesn't matter if you are powerful and influential or completely anonymous. Death comes to everyone. There's no getting around it. It was a different scene beyond the grave. The Bible tells us that the rich man was taken into a place of torment, not because he was rich, but because he had no place in his life for God. He couldn't care less about God. Lazarus was taken into a place of comfort in the bosom of Abraham. The scripture says in Luke 16:22, the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. When you die as a believer, the angels personally escort you into the presence of God. That's great to know, an angelic escort. Give me one drop of water, the rich man cried from hell. One drop of water, but still no water fell. He always was a selfish man, his heart was filled with greed. Now little drop of water is all he'll ever need. The rich man lived in luxury, surrounded by his door. He always had the very best that money could afford. He left this world not caring about his resting place. He laid his eyes toward heaven, but it was too late. Give me one drop of water, the rich man cried from hell. One drop the Savior too. Like the eye of the needle, no chance of getting through. So make your reservation before another day, for all your gold and silver will surely pass away. Give me one drop of water, the rich man cried from hell. One drop of water, but still no water failed. He always was a selfish man. His heart was filled with greed. Now little drop of water is all he'll ever need. Now listen to this. This is the answer to a problem. There's one way to heaven. It's by amazing grace, where everyone is equal, no matter creed or race. So have no other Bible and always put God first. We'll live on milk and honey, and we will never thirst. Give me one drop of water, the rich man cried from hell. One drop of water, but still no water failed. He always was a selfish man. His heart was filled with greed. Now little drop of water is all he'll ever need. Give me one drop of water, the rich man cried from hell. One drop of water, but still no water fell. Private message me here on Facebook. If you don't know how you can spend eternity in heaven, I'll be glad to share with you so that you can know you're going to spend eternity with Jesus. Thank you now. I look to hear from you.